Hi, welcome to part 2 of Ignite Your Intuition, Reclaim Your Natural Magic and Break Through to True Happiness. First of all, I'd like to thank all the people for their comments and emails. It's really beautiful, it's very humbling and extremely satisfying to hear people enjoy my energy and the enthusiasm, and nothing really can be better than have people reflect back that you're being filled with God and they can really feel that presence and energy coming through. Very, very nourishing, very beautiful, very powerful. So I'd just like to remind you that this video has a great opportunity when you watch it, and to have the guidebook for the event in front of you while you watch through, so you can take notes, your insights, the practical steps that might come up for you, that you can make changes in your attitude, your behavior, in the way that you see the world. So have that in front of you right now. And we really have this chance here to break through, to experience your authentic sense of who you truly are, the person you really want to be, and have that reflected in your inner and outer worlds, so that you're making a difference in your own life and also serving the highest good of the people around you and this beautiful planet that we live upon. Moving through self-doubt, moving through lack of worth, lack of confidence, into a place of real trust, real appreciation for life, true authentic happiness. My name's Anthony Ogley. I'm the Wild Heart Healer, and over the last few years I've helped hundreds of people really get in touch with their intuition, really help them get in touch with their body and emotion, express themselves, really step into their power, find their voice and expression in the world, to have tremendous results and benefits in their health, in their relationships, in their business, and their capacity to earn money doing the things that they love, helping people that they care alike to lead better, more fulfilled lives. And so in this video today, I want to share some tips and skills on how you can ignite your intuition, how you can find and harness your intuitive gifts and powers. And the first way of that is really just to be curious. Is to be curious, is to ask yourself this question of I wonder what might happen. I wonder what might be the best, and have sort of patience with the answers, rather than having the mind need to know something immediately, rather than needing this instant why, this instant need for gratification, instant answer, to let the question really kind of sink and move down into your belly, and then be curious and interested to see what rises up from there. And so another way to practice getting in tune with your intuition is to use a piece of paper when it comes to making a decision, and write that down. Your two options that you have, it could be something as simple as whether to eat a salad for your lunch or whether to eat an omelette. And you write the two things down on a piece of paper. You write omelette, you write salad, scrunch them up, and then take the pieces of paper and really sink into your feeling. Tune in with the resonance from your vision. Tune in with the feelings that you really desire to express and feel in your body and in your life. And then see which of these two options in your body feels closest, feels the most alive, feels the most full of that bright vibrancy, or that juiciness, or whatever it is which is the feeling that you are most connected to in your core, in that place that brings you really fully alive. And the more that you practice this, you can take it in then to bigger and bigger decisions. It's always good to start small, take little action steps. And the third way that I really like is about just taking a walk and letting yourself take a walk, or just go around the house or do the things in your day and be guided by your belly. So it means finding a way through to dropping all the ideas of all the things that we need to get done, and letting our belly guide us into what it really wants to express in each moment. And often I'll take a walk and just follow my belly, follow my gut as I walk around in the city or out here near the beach. And when that happens, when I let that take control, I tend to find all of my friends that are around here without any need for using phones or the internet. And I let life surprise me, and allowed to drop into this trust of finding the right way, finding support, and having these sort of sparks of inspiration to then choose my direction, and then use the head and the heart as to check in that that's really an authentic expression. As Einstein said, the irrational mind is a fantastic servant but a terrible master. And because we've been trained so deeply in our culture that the mind, the brain, is the kind of all-powerful, we often forget to nourish the wisdom of our bodies, the wisdom of our heart, the wisdom of our gut. And when we let the answers rise up our way in the world come from here, and then just use our mind to sort of check in with the process, we can make better decisions, we increase our health, we create more healthy relationships, we allow ourselves to be seen for who we really are. We can stop sort of hiding and drop some of the masks that we wear and our needs to be accepted and approved before we're ready to kind of express something that's a little kind of scary, a little edgy for us. And so that brings me to, what are the ways, what are the blocks, what are the obstacles that get in the way of us, expressing and finding our intuition and really claiming our power, our natural magic, really owning our ability to be truly happy and fulfilled in the world. So at the moment I've defined and discovered 3 main blocks. So the first one is that we don't know how or what the voice of our intuition, what is the difference between our intuition, our true guidance, that message from spirit or life or nature that has taken us to something really amazing, and the voice of our ego, or the voice of something destructive, or the voice of our little child that doesn't trust the world. So the first way of sort of moving through that obstacle of overcoming that block is to tune in with our vision and the feeling of that vision, and to use that, check in when we hear that voice to say, or to notice and become aware of, is this idea, is this desire, is that in tune with the vision that I have for my life? Does it feel vibrant? Does it feel juicy? And really being willing to make mistakes and practice And eventually, you know, like any instrument, the more that you play it, you know, the better our capacity, the more beautiful music we can make. The second way to start being able to discern between the different voices in our head is to give it expression. You know, to be willing to say out loud the things that are going through our minds. And, you know, if we're a little scared, if it's too vulnerable, if it's too difficult, too challenging to say that to, you know, to say that to our friends or to our partners or to our family, then we can start with ourselves. And we can start by, you know, going in front of the mirror and saying, you know, I have this desire to leave my job, and I want to leave my job now. And just to notice your facial expression, notice the tone of your voice, and then tune into that and find the difference between when your body is lit up, you're really alive and vibrant. Really find that difference in that when you look in the mirror, and when you're saying something that's basically just, you know, being angry or unhappy or having a difficult time at your work. Because it could be that your intuition may be telling you to move jobs. It could just be a signal that something's not quite working and you need to make an adjustment in your attitude or your behavior, and, you know, what you're bringing to the situation. And then we can start to name all these different voices, all these different aspects that we carry around with us. You know, because we have so many different parts to our personality. And often, you know, if we don't give them voice, if we don't give them expression, if we don't form a healthy relationship with them, then they start to kind of go a little crazy. They start to take over in unconscious ways. And, you know, so then we can recognize those voices, we can name them. So, you know, we always have, you know, I have a massive critic inside my head. It thinks there's something wrong with me. It thinks that I need to be perfect. It thinks every circumstance in my life needs to be perfect. All the people around me need to be perfect. And if they're not, then, you know, sort of blast them with a lot of anger and criticism. You know, there's a voice in my head, there's a part of me that's this kind of wild animal that either wants to kill everyone or have sex with everyone, regardless of whether that's, you know, sort of ethical or a healthy thing to do. And, you know, when I don't name this, when I don't form a relationship with this part of myself, you know, it can start acting out. You know, there's a kind of also, there's like the voice of my granddad that thinks I'm a lazy, good-for-nothing idiot. That I should work harder and harder and harder and do everything possible to satisfy his opinion of me. There's the voice of my mum who's always kind of worried about me in a very beautiful mother-like way. And so all these voices kind of go on inside my head, and if we don't name them, if we don't come to recognize them, if we don't form a relationship with them, if we don't integrate them into our wholeness, you know, then how can we tune into that quiet voice and know the difference between that and the voice of our intuition? So, you know, really it's up to you to then, you know, write these different voices that you carry around with you, to name them. Because once you've named something, you know, it really sort of puts it out on the table. It's been spoken, it's been named, it becomes a thing. It's no longer a kind of phantom belief running around in your head, creating all sorts of ideas and beliefs and stories and situations that might not actually be real. And then, you know, often we don't listen to our intuition, we don't act on our intuition because we're scared of the consequences. Because our intuition might be telling us to do something that our friends, our family, our culture isn't going to approve of. we might be scared of claiming our power and of what it takes, you know, for us to really step into our majesty, to really embrace our capacity for magic, our capacity for taking action, our capacity for service in the world, because then, you know, once we stand out, we become a target for people. And so, you know, so really again, the way through this is to recognize our fear, is to allow ourselves to feel scared and to track within ourselves the specific fears. So, for instance, you know, I might be scared that if I leave my job and get another job, it might be a disaster. You know, I could quit as a healer and a coach and go and become a dance teacher. And I might be scared that I'm not good enough at that. That's a legitimate fear. And so then if we go into that fear, if we track it, we can then separate the fear of this, whether it's something that I'm scared of me, I'm scared of my power, or practically perhaps I need more skill as a dance teacher in order to actually have the level of practice, the level of professionality needed to really competently teach people. Also, you know, we can have a lot of stored emotion in our bodies, and there's incredible amount of potential, there's an incredible amount of movement in our fears, locked up in our grief, in our joy, in our pain, in our anger. And it's also very scary because there's a lot of it, and you know, we need to be caring with that. You know, we need to find the ways to take action on the things that we're scared about, you know, one step at a time. We need to find ways of releasing our fears, of moving through them, that it's safe. Because, you know, it is possible, it can explode, it can become an unhealthy expression. So we need to find ways of standing up, of grounding within ourselves, of, you know, finding ways in our busy lives with all the pressures of raising our families, of finding enough money, of, you know, developing better communication skills with our friends, with our lovers, with our parents. You know, all of this stuff going on all the time, it can be very, very scary. And so, you know, it's just looking at what small practical steps can I make into this fear, into these edges. You know, what little voice could I carry today? What mistake could I make that, if it goes wrong, isn't going to make too big a difference and is going to give me some feedback and information so that I can then take the practice and learn from the experience. So then the other, you know, one other block to listening to our intuition is that, you know, we have all this emotion, we have all this storehouse, we hold back on our gifts because we're not really sure of what they are. We don't know what our purpose is, and we haven't found that way to put ourselves into service to something greater than us, which also gives us something back. So again, we use our vision and we ask ourselves these questions of, you know, who are the people I most want to help, and how can I most be of benefit to them, and also what's in it for me? What can I get from this? You know, how can I nourish myself first how can I take care of my needs and move forward practically to be of service to other people in the world. So there are three main blocks to stop us acting on our intuition. Can you stop the thing a minute? So then, what we really need to do is look at how we can stay, on track. We have these, big ideas. We have really expansive visions. We have all these things that we love to do, and then we get distracted and bogged down, sort of trapped in our, in our lives with all the difficulties and the struggles and the challenges, and we don't do the things that we really want to. So, how can we turn that around? How can we start to, move in the direction of our visions? How can we act in this magical way as though our visions have already happened and we're embracing with a real attitude of gratitude, positivity, and inspired action towards, bringing these wildest dreams into life? So really we need to start claiming our power back, claiming our capacity to choose. Even if we are choosing to be in a situation that isn't so healthy, that isn't in line with our vision, that isn't what we truly want, we can own that. We can start to say to ourselves, okay, I'm in this situation. And we can then, simply bring from our vision and our intuition into some very, very simple action steps. Because I think we get lost and we get very deflated in this world of instant expectations, instant results, and really it's about, planting a seed. If we want to say, if we want to lose weight, if we want to lose weight and be healthier, to have more vitality in our bodies, we get these big plans, we get these big ideas, we get the big vision, and then we don't go for the 10-mile run every day for a week, and we sort of give up. Oh, well, I'm not good enough, I'm not perfect, I was never going to do it anyway, I was doomed to fail. And really, we're just trying to bite off more than we can chew. So, what can we claim power over? How can we break it down to a simple, practical, everyday step that we can take, and we can see over time the movement and the building? So we can plant the seed, water it, and let it grow, because seeds become fruit trees. But they don't become fruit trees overnight. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes coming back to that simplicity of, feeding our seed, feeding our plant, feeding ourselves with, with sun, with compassion, with patience, with kindness, with a willingness to, take our power, with a willingness to, return to the soft center of our bodies, a willingness to allow ourselves this, this joy, this gift of deep breathing. This finding, even if it's just a few minutes a day, finding this relaxation, because the effects over 90 days, over 6 months, over a year of having 5 minutes of relaxation, it can have a massive, massive impact on our lives. This thing of coming down to some very, very basics. And also what I find very useful is having, is looking for people to, journey on this path with. Find some friends who are supportive of you. Find the people, if people are not supportive of what you're doing, if you have struggled with your family, if they don't approve of you following your intuition, if they don't approve of you, leaving your job, leaving your relationship, doing whatever it is that you really love, find someone who does. And there is the possibility now with Facebook, there is the comment section on this wall to make friends with people, to find people who you can engage in mutual support. And so really, and also to stay on track, is coming back. So how do we stay on track with these big visions, these big ideas? And so often we, like every January we get these great big resolutions, and we resolve to do things differently, and then we get stuck in the same old habitual patterns every year of our thoughts, of our behavior, of our actions, and nothing really changes. And then we take the stick and we start hitting ourselves because we're terrible, we're bad, there's something wrong with us. So how can we take that around? How can we turn the momentum and really stay on track, moving towards the life of our wildest dreams, that vision that we know is possible? And so it's really trying to bring it down to the simplest action steps, to really the most basic things that we can do every day. Little things make big differences when we repeat them over time. And to make it as simple as possible, whether that's, if we want to lose weight, that could be as simple as, eating one less bar of chocolate a day, or having one more healthy snack instead of, eating an apple every day instead of biscuit. Doing very, very simple steps over time will have a really massive impact. And then the other side of that is starting to learn how to, when we do make a mistake, when we fall off track, to put the stick down that we used to beat ourselves with and just be okay with making a mistake. The people who are the most successful tend to be the ones who make the most mistakes. So we just find that way through to say, well, that was a mistake, I'm going to learn from it, rather than beat myself up over it. And so then we come to true happiness, and true happiness will come in the next video in part 3. So the secret to finding true happiness, real fulfillment in our lives, and this courage of feeling our emotions, of allowing the message that comes from them to inform us, to enlighten us, to inspire us into action, into a different attitude, and to really finding this place of happiness within and creating a more vibrant world for ourselves and other people to live in. So please, if you've enjoyed this video, leave a comment on the page. Give me your questions, I'll be there to answer them. And I'd just like to wish you very, very well. Remember to keep on practicing the go, bring those 3 elements of your mind, your heart and your body into alignment. Move forward, take action, and be good to yourself. This is Anthony Ogley, Wild Heart Healer. Thank you very much.